Welcome to lesson 35, 36, and 37. We are going to be doing a revision on everything that we have covered when it comes to pestle analysis. So now we are looking at the entire pestle and everything that we covered under each synonym, acronym, under each acronym. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
So under recap, we just did a case analysis on the Maasai people. So the outcomes for this lesson, you guys need to know the rate of environmental change. You know, we are living in societies where everything is dynamic and the pace of change is actually rapid. So we need to revise the technological forces, the economical forces, the political forces, the legal forces, and the social forces. We have actually unpacked this from last week, and we have concluded them. So these are the key terms that we are going to be looking at, and we spoke about these terms, if you remember, in the previous lessons. So as revision, what are these aspects of macro environment? When we're talking about the macro environment, what are we talking about? What issues are we addressing there?
The macro environment, the customers, suppliers, competitors, marketplace. Yeah.
Okay, you actually explain the things of the micro environment.
Oh, for real? That means
Remember, we've got MI, we've got MA. So the customers, the suppliers, and the intermediaries, those are aspects of the micro, MI. What about macro?
Isn't it the demographic, economic? Is it those ones?
Those ones, which ones? Only mentioned one. Okay. So when you're looking at the aspects of the macro environment, we are actually looking at pestle analysis, guys. It's as easy as that. Okay.
You know, I wanted to say pistol, but I doubted myself.
So whenever you hear someone talking about the macro environment, the formula for macro environment is the pestle analysis. When someone is talking about the micro environment, then that's when you talk about customers, intermediaries, and competitors. Okay. I know you guys know this, you're just tired. So how do these pestle aspects influence digital marketing strategies? It's revision, guys. We've covered this already.
They all influence digital marketing in their own different ways.
And which ways, of course. So remember, we discussed that the macro environment, these are the key players that companies do not necessarily have control of. So it's beyond their control, but are the things that are happening in the environment that they need to be well aware of, and they need to be compliant to those things such as the legal forces. So the companies do not have control over POPI Act, but they need to comply with POPI Act. The companies do not have control over social exclusion, but they need to adapt to the occurrences of social exclusion. So these are the things that happens in the wider environment that companies do not have control of, but they need to adapt either to accommodate or to outbid these aspects. Am I making any sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why we unpack or the reason why we analyze the environment is because of the pace of environment change. What was happening last year can be different to what is happening this year and to what is going to happen next year. So in the digital world, changes in social culture and particularly pop culture tend to be very rapid. Introduction of new technologies and changes in their popularity tend to occur frequently and with increasing speed from concept to commercialization. So, digital marketers need to be alert to these forces that are important in the context of their own trading environment so they can aim to ensure competitiveness of the business. So we've got the political forces. We spoke about these forces and we identify their implications for the digital marketing strategy and planning. We discussed that the political environment is shaped by an interplay of government agencies, public opinion, and consumer pressure groups and industry-backed organizations. We spoke about political control, democracy, internet governance, taxation, social media, and political change. Remember, guys, on your F1, there is a section that deals with macro analysis, environmental analysis, where you need to unpack the pestle analysis. These are the things that you can actually describe when talking about SPA to you delivery services. You actually need to explain or to provide an argument that is related to SPA. But you can still talk about political control and democracy. You can still talk about internet governance. You can still talk about taxation and so on. So that was it about political forces. Are there any questions on political forces?
No.
Then we looked at economic forces. And we discussed that globally, economic influences affect the levels of success of businesses. Think about Takealot, how it's been successful as an e-commerce giant. Economic forces affect supply and demand, and consequently, it is important for digital marketers to identify which economic influences they need to monitor. Classic economic factors can affect every aspect of business activity and are equally pertinent to off and offline and online businesses. So there are so many things that we can talk about economic forces. We know the economic situation of the country, the inflation. I think we spoke about inflation. We spoke about recession. We spoke about the differences, the fuel prices and so on. So all those are economic factors that influence digital marketing. Are there any questions about economic forces?
No questions.
Okay. Then we've just unpacked the social forces, and we discussed that social forces are closely linked with culture and have significant implications for digital marketing. The key factors which make up of these forces include social communities based on demographic profile, social exclusion, cultural factors. Think about Easter. How is Easter cultural, guys? It's rare to see someone having an Easter egg in June or in December, right? So it has become a culture that Easter eggs start to trend during April. Am I right or am I wrong? You can always correct me on that one.
I think you're right.
Hmm. So you also need to have a look at the population growth. and its implications on marketing strategy and planning, and how the analysis of demographic trends can reveal important issues, such as the significant group within a national population, as well as their access to the internet. Because having more people in a country doesn't really say anything if those people are not online. Being a digital marketer, we come up with message formulation that are aimed at digital platforms. That's why we call it digital marketing, not traditional marketing. We deal with digital platforms. So we need as many people, as many part of the population to be online than those that are offline. So we must consider the role of digital divide, those who can afford to be online and those who cannot afford to be online. We need to consider social isolation, internet disengagement, which can lead to social exclusion. So if people are socially excluded, it means that we can face a decreased population of our target audience. It's not good news for a digital marketer to hear that customers are taking a break from social media. So what Rezia was mentioning, that she feels so good being offline, seeing the trees, seeing the nature. For a digital marketer, it's not good news, because we want to connect with you online. We want you to be exposed to our brands. We want you to be exposed to our products and stuff like that. So these are the social forces. Are there any questions about the social forces?
No questions.
Okay. Technology was combined with economic forces when we looked at it last week. And one of the challenges for digital marketers is how to successfully assess which new technologies, innovations can be applied to give competitive advantage. We always struggle with this. You know, even if you are doing social media analysis, many social media marketers are struggling with social media platforms to choose. For example, you'd ask yourself, must I deliver this message on TikTok or must I deliver it on Facebook? Must I use Instagram or must I use Twitter? So it's always difficult to successfully assess which platform to use or which technological tools to use. So how then does a digital marketing manager decide whether to proceed and which technological solution to adopt? So guys, if you are working for a company, for example, what would motivate you to have a social media page for that company? Let's say it doesn't have any presence online. What is it that will motivate you to adopt a specific online platform for them?
Maybe to expand reach.
Okay. All right. What else?
To engage with clients.
Okay. So you'd look for platforms that are more engaging if your goal is to engage with clients. You'd look at platforms that can enable you to get a wider reach, especially if you want to increase the number of the population for the target audience. So there's more to digital marketing than just establishing and managing a website or a social media platform. You need to do a lot of analysis there. Legal forces. These are laws developed in order to provide a framework for control regulation so that our companies can do their business in a more acceptable manner. We discussed that, and we also looked at data protection. We looked at privacy laws. We looked at intellectual properties and so on. Are there any other issues that you need to address under legal forces?
Nope.
Okay, that was it, guys, about chapter 3. So you should be able to know all the components of Pastel. And for a digital marketer, the most important task is to carry out a thorough assessment of the forces that are shaping the online marketing environment and identify which forces have implications for their own marketing planning and strategic initiatives. Any questions with regards to everything that we've done today, guys?
No.
Questions.
Okay, I hope you understood everything. I hope you understood everything, guys. As you're awake, I know that sometimes your mind can be on assignments. Already you are now in an Easter mode. Yeah, you want to connect with your family. You are now planning about the Easter. So good luck with your assignments. And next week, you're going to do case study on the chapter 3 revision.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Guys,